But as Patty said, yeah, there was an unfortunate accident right here behind the studio. I actually saw it when I was coming in this morning, so make sure that you guys are driving safe. I actually saw a couple of different people posting things around the valley this week. So, what about you? Did it snow at your place? Did it hail? Maybe a little sleet? Or is it that weird thing that I've never heard of before? Grapple, grapple. I don't know.
Gravel?
I don't know. Somebody on Facebook was posting, "Hey, look at the snow," and then somebody who grew up in the Midwest jumped in there and started harshing their buzz and saying that ain't snow, it's gripple or grapple. I don't know. I never heard of it.
Gripple.
I don't know. It was like half
It's like
snow,
half snow,
rain.
half rain, half hail.
Yeah,
I was there
weird.
for it. We all saw it.
Look, y'all, if it's white and it's falling in Santa Clarita, it's either hail or snow. Don't be bringing us down like that. Anyways, like I said, it is wet out there, and we all need to be careful. If you're on the road, sit up straight, get those hands at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, slow down, drive safe. I know you're an excellent driver even when it rains, and it's everybody else in Southern California that doesn't know how to drive in the rain. Whatever it is, just be careful, okay? We love you, we need you, and nobody wants to stand in the rain exchanging insurance information. Because, if you're out there, even if it's not raining, if it's wet on the roads and you're standing by the side of the road exchanging insurance information and Big T drives by, he's going to clip that puddle and soak you. So, yeah. That's right. Today, it's a good day to stay home, put on some fuzzy socks, pour yourself another cup of coffee, and settle in for a couple of hours of Eye on the Valley. As you know, we're brought to you by SCVi and I Lead Charter Schools. We're an education-based show, but we keep our eye on the rest of the valley as well, and we've got a lot going on today. It's going to be a fun show. Are you ready? Are you ready? In just a minute, we're going to be talking to Tina and Ness Roffredo. They are the lower school admin team at our flagship school, SCVi. We'll see what's going on over there at SCVi. There's a lot of fun stuff happening over there. And a little bit later on in the show, we'll check in with Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. Today's a big day for the area restaurants and other establishments, and then we'll also meet Shawn Satoff with Vanguard Protection Group. And as we usually do, we'll be wrapping the show with Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. And Big T's a lot of fun, so you won't want to miss it or any of our show. So here we go. My first guest today, they actually get their own intro music this morning. Can we hear that, Patty? Can we get that?
Oh my God.
I can hear that.
I think we can. That's right. My first guests are Ness Roffredo and Tina. They are the lower school admin team at SCVi. Nessa joined the iLead family about 5 years ago at iLead Encino. And Tina has been with us since that first year back in 2008. And now they head our lower school, that is grades TK through 8 at iLead's founding school, SCVi. Tina, Nessa, welcome back to Eye on the Valley. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All righty.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Good to talk to you, Matt.
Oh, it's always good to talk to you, the two of you. And before we get into anything, Nessa, would you like to share a little bit? What was that we just heard? Can you tell us a little bit about the cover-ups?
Certainly. You got me there, Matt. I'm shocked that I love it. Thank you so much. The cover-ups is an all-girl, all-women. We're all women now. We were girls when it started. An all-girl ska band that was based out of Los Angeles. And when they first got started back in the early 90s, I was living in the Bay Area going to school. And when I moved home to LA, I became part of their project, and we played all kinds of shows all over California. And so we had a lot of interest, I'm sure, because of being all girl, but we prided ourselves on really knowing how to play our instruments, knowing the roots of reggae. Ska is the roots of traditional reggae, and we had a lot of fun. A lot of hard work, a lot of collaboration, a lot of tears, a lot of joy, a lot of fun. And we're still getting feedback, 25 years later, we're actually been asked, I'm sorry, I could keep going, but I'll stop with this last thing. Recently, we just got asked to re-release a single that we did. And so it feels pretty cool being a school director and still having my having my youth come back and, get attention. It's really super fun.
That is really cool, Nessa. I have to tell you, I like to do a little bit of research about my guests, and I was looking around last night, and I found that, and I was super excited. Yeah, my principal is so much cooler than you. And we started out with that keyboard intro. Is that you on the keyboards, Nessa?
It certainly is.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Tina, have you ever played in an all-girl ska band before?
No, I sure haven't. Nessa's way cooler than me, that's for sure.
I don't know about that. You are pretty cool. But let's give our listeners who maybe haven't met the two of you before a little bit of a background of you guys with our school, because you guys each had very different paths that brought you to the leadership at SCVi. So Tina, let's start with you. How did you find SCVi and iLead?
I was actually, during SCVi's founding year, my son's here with me, placed as a student teacher during my last semester of my credential program. So, and then I was lucky enough that they wanted to keep me around. So I got to start teaching the following year, 4th grade, and then taught 4th and 5th grade, and then joined the admin team. So and here I am.
Absolutely. So you've been around since that founding year. You've been a huge part in growing our school and our school network into what they are now. And good morning, Ezra. It's good to talk to you as well.
He says hello.
Nessa, how about you? How did you find our organization?
Well, I was working at another independent charter school in the San Fernando Valley, and I was there also teaching elementary school. And they learned about project-based learning and brought Buck Institute into our school and asked who was interested in piloting project-based learning. And a lot of people were afraid, like, wait, we can't do that. Oh, it didn't make sense. And I was super excited about it. And I had a partner teacher that was also super excited about it. And so we dove in, and it was just an amazing experience. And for several years, we had the project-based learning class in our elementary school. And then with things changing in, the state and the different expectations, they kind of started moving into wanting everyone to do a more, I guess you could just say, a more streamlined curriculum, following the textbooks and the practice books. And it was devastating to me. And at the same time, a friend of mine had started at a school also in the San Fernando Valley, and it was a project-based learning school. And so we spent most of our weekends together barbecuing on Saturday night, and she was trying to get me to come work at her school. And I thought to myself, that at that time, my daughter was in kindergarten, and I was like, there's no way I can help you start a school. Like, you're crazy starting a school. But we, being friends, as the years grew on and I learned more about project-based learning, she scooped me up and I became part of the admin team at her school, which became iLead Encino. And then now I'm up at SCVi as part of, the iLead family.
Yeah, and you guys, as I mentioned, you're the administrative team for SCVi's lower school, and that's transitional kindergarten through 8th grade. So you guys work with the littles, the 4.5-year-olds, all the way up to the 8th graders. But actually, SCVi doesn't stop at 8th grade. You guys are actually TK through 12. Is that right?
Yes.
And we are the only public comprehensive school in Santa Clarita, which is kind of exciting, comprehensive, where you can attend the same school from kindergarten or transitional kinder, depending on where you fall, from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. Can you guys talk for a second about the benefits of having a comprehensive campus where you've got elementary school, middle school, high school right there on the same campus? What are the benefits for our learners, for our staff, for our families of having all of those grades on the same campus?
I would definitely start with saying continuity. I mean, we have multi-age classrooms, so the learners are able to stay with their teacher for more than 1 year, usually for 2 years in the lower school, and lower school being elementary and middle school. And so it's just really building the family and the community. I mean, everyone knows each other. we feel like we're a big school, but if you break it down, we have almost 1,000 kids, PK through 12th grade. And so it's really a really small, it's almost like we're a private school, but we are public. So we have this small learning communities where everyone's able to work together. Families get to know each other. Families get to know staff. And the most beautiful piece is we get to see our learners grow over the years. And so we might have kids that just watching them grow and develop and being able to work together as a family with their parents, with our teachers. It's just an amazing experience for us and for the families and kids.
Yeah, definitely. And the learners get comfortable never having to worry about, I'm going to a new school, what's it going to be like, learning new systems. And Tina, you're very familiar with that concept of following your students all the way through. As you mentioned, you taught 4th and 5th grade for years at SCVi, but you also had the opportunity to participate in a couple of graduations, as some of the kids that you had in those early days have now gone on to graduate high school. Can you talk about what that experience is, kind of raising those kids all the way through high school?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like Nessa said, it provides that family environment, family atmosphere, and you do have that connection with the kids for so many years and get to watch them grow, and it's really a unique and emotional experience. Like you see, parents emotional at the graduations, but then it's the teachers too, because we've seen these kids grow up, and it's just so surreal that I had this little 4th grader in my class, and now I'm watching him walk across the stage and get his high school diploma. So it's really special.
Definitely. And Nessa talked about that small community feel, with a school as small as ours, everybody's got to pitch in and play multiple roles. So you might have a 2nd grade teacher who's also coaching the varsity soccer team, which we'll get into sports a little bit later on. But think about that as a parent or as a family. We all know how important it is to get to know our kids' teachers and develop relationships with them over the course of the year. Maybe if you're lucky, 2 years with your kids' teachers. But our families oftentimes will develop, as Nessa mentioned, these lifelong relationships where they've known the different teachers and administrators in and around the school for 6, 8, 10 years. It helps build that close-knit family feel where families also have play a role in the leadership at our school, and it just builds such a unique environment. Speaking of unique, one of the other things that makes SCVi so unique, well, all of our iLead schools do it too, but it's one of the things that makes our school network so unique, is the process of individual learning plans. We call them ILPs. Nessa, Tina, can you tell our listeners a little bit about the ILP process, Individualized Learning Plans? What are those? Who gets one? Why is it important? Why does that make our school so special?
Yeah, so all our learners have individualized learning plans where they set academic and social emotional goals for the year that they work on, and they sit down actually one-on-one with their facilitator and their family, their mom or dad or both, and they really take on that process from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade and developing goals for themselves, and the adults are there to basically support and help guide and help hold them accountable in reaching those goals. And they create those goals based on different things, whether it's their passion or what they truly feel like they want to get better at. They look at assessment scores. So it's a really nice process where there's a conversation and collaboration on them creating goals for the year to kind of help them focus and learn how to goal set and how to reach their goals.
And you touched on something really important. These are the learners. We call them learners rather than students. It helps shift the context a little bit. We might talk about that in just a few minutes. But our learners take ownership of their learning. It's something that they're doing rather than their education being done to them. And the ILP process is based on kind of the special education format around IEPs. And it was funny, years ago when I was first starting in education, and I learned about the extremely personalized education that students with special education needs get, where we assess them every year to see where they're at and what their needs are, and then we write a year-long goal for them, and we set benchmarks, and everybody supports them meeting those goals. I thought, wow, what an amazing process. Why wouldn't every student be on one of these plans? Well, at SCVi and our other iLead schools, they all are. It's just good education, so why wouldn't we do it with everybody? So it is very unique to our schools, and a great way of individualizing learning, because we recognize that not all students are the same. In fact, every student is unique. We mentioned as we were coming in that unfortunate traffic accident behind us. Tina, that's not the only bad news going on around the valley. I was at the Apple store yesterday and I witnessed a robbery. Did you know that, Tina?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I guess it makes me an eyewitness, doesn't it? Anyways.
Oh my God, I knew. I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Come on, man.
Nessa Roffredo and Tina Toval are the lower school admin team at SCVi. They've got a remarkably innovative school program, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that program right after this. We'll be right back with Nessa and Tina. You're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Are you looking for educational flexibility and choice? Look no further than your front door. iLead Exploration's independent study program is passionate about personalized learning. Our mission is to inspire learners to become creative problem solvers, compassionate leaders, conscientious collaborators, and responsible citizens who develop a lifelong love of learning. Our families partner with a credentialed teacher to customize each child's educational path. Families access community partners to choose a variety of in-person, online, and at-home options to create an optimal learning environment for each learner. Our program also values community, and through a variety of field studies, service projects, park days, and family gatherings, we provide many opportunities to foster friendships. Because there are currently in-person limitations due to COVID, we are offering activities online through webinars and virtual field trips. iLead Exploration is a tuition-free, independent study charter school program serving grades TK through 12 in Los Angeles, Orange, Kern, San Bernardino, and Ventura counties. To learn more about our program, visit iLeadExploration.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
If you need help at home or at the office, call Made For You. Made For You is a locally owned, bonded, and licensed cleaning service with over 20 years of experience. All employees are vetted for your protection. No need to buy products or equipment. The Made For You staff comes complete with everything needed to make your home or office cleaner than ever. Hire Made For You one time, as needed, or an ongoing basis. No room is off limits. Laundry and ironing services are also available. Call Made For You for a free estimate. 255-2922. That's 255-2922.
Getting a COVID test these days can be super time-consuming, not to mention a bit of a health risk waiting in long lines to get one. Now you can get a fast, accurate test right at home. The Test Warehouse offers rapid, FDA emergency use, authorized tests, refundable by most insurance. Go to thetestwarehouse.com and schedule a rapid COVID test at a time convenient to you, and a medical professional will arrive to administer a 1-minute test. The test can be done safely outdoors at any home or office. You'll get the results in 10 minutes. Thetestwarehouse.com. That's thetestwarehouse.com.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com. or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
Get ready to discover a creative new way to have fun. Painting with a twist. We'll show you step by step how to make fun art, not fine art. It's painting, it's dancing, it's a party. Painting with a twist. It's a little bit of paint, a little bit of wine, and a whole lot of fun. Visit paintingwithatwist.com to find the studio nearest you.
Now located in the patios at Valencia Westfield Mall. Google Painting with a Twist Santa Clarita for a new kind of fun.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, and we are keeping our eye on education this morning. We're talking with Ness Roffredo and Tina. They are the lower school admin team at SCVi. And we were talking about a couple of the things that make SCVi so unique. You know, that's the whole idea behind charter schools is charters are intended to be kind of laboratory schools. So they're intended to innovate, to create, to work with the newest and most cutting-edge techniques and things going on in the education world. And then the traditional schools are intended to kind of watch that and see what's working, what's not, and it helps move the education landscape forward. And one of the things that SCVi has been kind of a pioneer in is project-based learning, right? Tina, you were in the classroom for so many years and developed a lot of exciting projects. Can you share with our audience what project-based learning means, what it looks like in the classroom? What is a project-based learning school versus a traditional curriculum? Have we got you, Tina?
Oh, maybe she's with Ezra. She
Okay.
Has her baby.
Well, when
I can speak to
yeah,
it.
definitely.
So, yeah, I'm happy to. So basically in a project-based learning school, rather than the teacher talking at the students or explaining a lesson and then the kids opening their books and reading and answering questions, a question is posed to the learners. It could be something that they're interested in. Ideally, it's something that's affecting their community, either locally or globally. It could be something going on in the world, something that they're concerned about, something that they feel passionately about, that they want to learn about, research, and do something to create change in the world. And so, that's a huge difference between the education I grew up with and a traditional system where you're being told what to learn and ask questions about it versus being asked what you like to learn, what you think about it, and just really being asked to think critically about a problem and be able to find a solution.
So now that sounds really engaging for the students, for the learners. But if we're just working with topics and things that the kids are interested in, we can run the risk of the kids not learning what they quote unquote have to learn, because the state of California lays out all the different things that our learners have to learn. So are the learners at our schools still getting all of the content and learning the different concepts that they need to learn in each grade level?
Absolutely. I didn't mention that because I guess it goes without saying. We embed the standards, so that we embed the Common Core standards. Their facilitators, their teachers are completely aware of all of the requirements of what they have to learn, but find a way to weave that in, or you can start with the standards and develop a project that way. You can study the local community. We want to talk about the local community. We can look at who lived here first, and we can spend time talking about where they are, what happened, and it can evolve into a project that addresses something that's going on today. But absolutely, all of the standards are woven in, and projects give us the opportunity to embed across the curriculum. So a project can start off trying to think of something that I can just give off the top of my head. There's so many different projects. I mean, there's been math projects that talk about bringing in all of the math standards and still focus on creating maybe a restaurant. Our second and third graders a couple of years ago, they created a restaurant, but that gives them the opportunity to bring in all the different math skills. They were able to use their collaborative skills just talking about the different things that they would like to do, that they would like to see. They actually played, they put a full restaurant in their open concept classroom, and it became an Italian kitchen that night. I don't know that I'm doing justice to the answer, though.
Well, no. That's you did a great job, and that's the exciting thing about project-based learning. I remember so many times when I was a kid growing up, and I'm sure most of my listeners remember, if they weren't as impertinent as I was to say it out loud, we certainly thought it, right? When am I ever going to use this, right? How many times did we sit in a classroom and think to ourselves, okay, I've learned this concept. I feel comfortable in my ability to pass the test on Friday, but when am I really going to use this? So much of our learning seemed like it only applied in the classroom, and we were never going to use it in the quote-unquote real world. Well, with our facilitators, our teachers, building projects that are authentic around the concepts that the students have to learn, it becomes real, right? And now the learning just becomes almost incidental, right? I've got to learn these skills, I've got to learn this information in order to accomplish my task, in order to complete this project. It becomes real. And when our students learn those concepts in that real context, then their learning becomes permanent, right? They don't take the test and then forget it immediately, like oftentimes can happen. As a matter of fact, and Nessa, I know you were looking for a lot of different examples. One of the things that I was hoping Tina would talk about is a project that she and I actually helped create together with our team. Where
I think I'm thinking of the same one.
You want to share?
Because I think I am. Are you talking about the Harriet project?
Yes.
Yes, I was thinking about that one. Nessa was talking, and sorry, my son was having a moment, but I'm back, I'm in action now. But yeah, we had a project. It was a science-based project where we had a patient. They became doctors, and we made it super official. And they all became doctors, and we had a patient who was actually a parent volunteer who was sick, and she had an illness. And we let the parent know what the illness was, but the kids didn't know. So she knew her symptoms. She knew what she needed to come in and play the part as. And the kids worked in medical teams and interviewed her and really worked to figure out what was wrong with her. But through that, they learned about the respiratory system and the circulatory system, and they learned about all, how the body functions, so that they can see what was going on with her body and why it wasn't functioning properly. And then they had to diagnose her. And obviously the point of the project was not necessarily to get the right diagnosis, but to show understanding of the body systems and show understanding of how they got to their conclusion of what was wrong with Harriet, the patient. And so that was really neat. And they definitely took on that role, and they get really into it. And that's what engages them, and that's what makes them remember. And I think one of our kids, if I'm not mistaken, Matt, 1 year, I think diagnosed his own dad, right? Like his dad ended up having the illness that for that year we had our patient have, and didn't he recognize the symptoms in his dad and was like, Dad, I think you have this, and sure enough he was right.
Yeah, absolutely, and was able to get the treatment that he needed. It was really exciting. And
so crazy.
Yeah.
I know.
And in a couple of weeks we could have used some cutouts and some neat little graphics and had the kids learn the different systems in the body, but like I said, a couple of weeks later it would have just been gone. But these authentic projects keep their learning permanent, and they're going to remember those things. I still have kids that have now graduated from our high school that talk about, remember when we did this project, remember when we did that project. That was so much fun, that was so engaging, and I still remember ... right? They'll go into that, and so it is not only a fun and engaging way to teach, but the learning becomes permanent. It's just a huge win-win. Now, project-based learning is one of our two main educational pillars. The other one is social-emotional learning, and I know everybody's talking about social-emotional learning nowadays, but one of the things that does make us special is we value SEL, social-emotional learning, equally, right? Project-based learning, the academic, social-emotional learning, that emotional, more interpersonal side. So can you share a little bit about why? Why is it that social-emotional learning is just as important as academic learning? Why are those skills and concepts just as important for kids to learn as their maths, their science, their history, that kind of thing?
So it's equally important because we really want to teach the whole child. We want to foster the whole child to grow up and become this competent, confident individual able to participate in the greater society. And so social emotional learning focuses both on interpersonal and intrapersonal skills, so that every child can participate in their own learning and do it in a way where they're collaborating effectively. I mean, interpersonal skills are working with other people, right? Like our communication with each other. And intrapersonal skills is more the conversation you're having with yourself, your own self-confidence. So we believe that by fostering that interpersonal skill, so I'm able to come to you and participate confidently, and then together we learn our skills where we can participate and collaborate. It's only going to make the person, it's going to just create this person that is capable of doing anything. I mean, I was thinking about this morning, and I woke up thinking about being at a soccer game. You know how when your children are playing soccer and you get to volunteer to show up at the field and do different things to make, like in an AYSO, make the soccer game happen.
Right.
So we got there early one morning, and you have to set up the goalpost. And so there's 5 adults standing around staring at the post and the net, and no one's really doing anything. And I don't know how to do it, but I'm thinking to myself, like, do any of us know how to do this? And it was, the reason I bring it up, it was so interesting that no one was communicating because they didn't know each other. And everything started to click in my mind, how they say that, you know, we have young adults going to college that aren't capable to collaborate and have conversation and get work done on their projects. And here it was in my real life example, you know, the AYSO in Sherman Oaks, where all of these people are obviously, you know, in these power position jobs, and they're all scratching their head, but no one's talking about how are we going to solve this problem. And right there, it kind of clicked. Like, we're an example. I said it out loud. They probably all thought I was crazy. We're an example of why we need to teach our children how to communicate. And social emotional skills have a lot to do with building yourself, and then also building your skills to work collaboratively with other people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, business owners and HR directors, oftentimes when you ask them what they're looking for in the ideal employee, they won't talk about those hard skills and the knowledge. And they'll even tell you, you know, that stuff I can teach you. What I'm looking for is those soft skills that not everybody has. Well, we can teach those. We've identified those skills, and they're just as important, like I said, if not maybe even a little bit more important than those hard academic skills, is teaching those soft skills. And that's one of the things that SCVi does so well. Now, ladies, I also want to talk about some of the other things going on at our schools, and most importantly, how people that are listening can join our school. But we've got to take a quick break. Can you stick around for just a few more minutes with me?
Sure, of course.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Tina, before I go, I just wanted to let you know I did buy those new Velcro shoes that you were telling me about. But they're a total ripoff. Anyways, we're here with Ness Roffredo and Tina Toval. They're the admin team of the lower school at SCVi Charter School. We will be right back with more with them. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
If you'd like to take your business up a notch, take a look at Elite Magazine.
Linda and Mo Hafizi, owners of our Valley's two leading magazines, the Magazine of Santa Clarita and Elite.
I'm so proud of Elite. It allows your advertisement to stand out. We distribute Elite to 50,000 homes and businesses. You'll find us in 1,900 local hotel rooms.
Discover how Elite Magazine can help your business. Call 294-4444.
Superior quality is second nature to us. Just ask our advertisers.
At College of the Canyons, we are
an inclusive community,
a family,
a partner,
a leader,
a way forward,
an open door,
an affordable education,
an opportunity for a different tomorrow.
Spring classes begin in February.
The time is now.
The place is here.
Enroll now.
Canyons.edu/schedule.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. For a limited time, you can get a queen-size premium MyPillow for the lowest price ever. Regularly $69.98, now only $29.98. MyPillow is patented and adjusts to any sleep position. It's washable and dryable, comes with a 10-year warranty, and 100% made in the USA. I'm also giving you deep discounts on all my MyPillow products, including my bed sheets, mattress toppers, and bath towels. That's $29.98 for a queen-size premium MyPillow, and deep discounts on all my MyPillow products. Buy now, and I'll extend my 60-day money-back guarantee to March 1st, 2021.
Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS, or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927, or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. I am Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. And we're joined this morning by SCVi's lower school admin team. That is the people responsible for making everything go in grades transitional kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. Tina and Nessa Roffredo. You know, Nessa, one of the things that struck me the most when I first started working with SCVi, and I kind of say it tongue-in-cheek, but it really is kind of true. The years prior to me working at SCVi, I worked very hard to make sure that my students were ready for when they went out into the real world. And I always said, like I said, tongue-in-cheek, that the learners at SCVi and iLead schools have the audacity to think that they already live in the real world and that they can affect it now. They can change it now. Nessa, can you talk a little bit about what that means and how our learners are different that way and how they participate in the real world?
Absolutely. I just think the way our classes are structured and the way the projects are structured, where our kids are challenged to think about problems, they're challenged to think about what they're learning about, and they're challenged to talk about it. We're a school of choice. So although we're TK through 12th grade, although we're a public school, we're a school that's open to anyone that's interested in coming and enrolling. And so we do get learners that have already had experiences at other schools. And the reason I bring that up is we have had, I can't tell you how many times I've had parents come back and say, I don't know what you guys are doing, but my child's only been at your school for a few weeks, and now they're participating in conversations at the dinner table. My kids have opinions about what's going on in the world, and they have opinions about what's going on in our family. And I really want to say that I think it's because we are teaching our learners how to think critically. We're not necessarily teaching them what to think, like this is what you need to believe. It's more we're giving them the opportunity to wrestle with information, to reflect on what they're learning, to truly listen to each other. And I just think that that's such a huge part of what we all need in our world today, that we all need to be able to reflect on what we're thinking about, reflect on our own personal beliefs and opinions, and then also have the capacity to stop and listen to what someone else has to say, and not just to listen, but to think about it and process it, and then think how that plays into our own personal beliefs. And so anyways, I guess my point is a lot of families have come back and are saying they're just so impressed. Like, all of a sudden we went to dinner with grandma and grandpa, and my son put down his phone and had an opinion about whatever we were talking about, or shared what they were learning at school. And I mean, it's just amazing. I'm just so happy and excited about being able to foster that with our school.
Yeah, if you're a parent, think about that. As your kids grow up, imagine if they had the ability to think deeply about complex problems, that they had the skills to listen, and then they had the confidence to believe that their opinion mattered just as much as anybody else's. You know, Nessa, we had another SCVi parent, a parent of a graduate and one of this year's seniors on not too long ago. She said when her oldest went off to NYU, one of her first classes, there were about 100 different students in there, and she says, "Mom, it's so weird. Every day I go to class, and it's like a conversation between me and the professor, and nobody else in class talks. They just all take notes about what the professor and I talk about." And her mom said, "Yeah, because you went to SCVi where they taught you that your opinion was just as valid as the teacher's opinion, and you learned to discuss your ideas and manipulate thoughts that way, and other kids don't necessarily always learn how to do that." Now, Nessa, Tina, we've got just a couple of minutes. Really quickly, I wanted to ask, can you share just a couple seconds about a new program that you've implemented at SCVi this year, your dual language immersion program?
Sure. It's funny being on the radio and deciding how we're going to jump in.
Right, you can't look at each other and get those visual clues, yeah.
Okay, I'll speak to it. So this year, we launched our dual immersion program, and it's interesting because it happened very quickly. I mean, there was lots of plans and discussions over the summer and how it was going to happen. But we presented the idea of we have a Spanish dual immersion program, and we were starting with a K1 class, so kindergarten and first graders. And we had a parent information night back at the beginning in August. And we had such overwhelming feedback, we ended up with two classes. So we have a kinder first grade class. We have a first, second grade class. And anyways, that's probably too much logistics. Anyways, we have 4 teachers. So we have 2 of our teachers were already or 2 of our facilitators were already at SCVi, Miss Megan and Miss Chrissy. They were teaching kindergarten and first grade. And then now we've added to their team 2 Spanish teachers who have already worked in dual immersion program, who had all intentions of being local, but because of the pandemic are at home in Barcelona, Spain.
Oh, wow.
And our kids, yeah, it's amazing. Our kids are being true global learners where they're receiving English instruction.
And well, I hate to jump in. They're doing their schooling both in English and Spanish and learning and growing in both languages. It's so exciting.
Absolutely.
If you're interested in enrolling your child at SCVi, please go to ileadsantaclarita.org. We've got informational sessions coming up. Our lottery is on March 26th, so if you're interested, you're going to have to get your name in by that deadline, which is March 12th. So don't wait. Go to ileadsantaclarita.org for more information on how you can enroll. Tina and Nessa, I want to thank you for joining us today. Like I said, we do have to take a quick break, but it was wonderful to catch up with you guys. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk soon. I am Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools, Eye on the Valley, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Experience Frontier Toyota's all-new hot and exciting Toyota lineup. Serving the Santa Clarita Valley for over 30 years. Frontier Toyota, the Camry, Corolla, and Prius Kings. They're tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Frontier Toyota, the new way of car buying. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom at Valencia and Creekside. Discover a whole new car buying experience with your friends at Frontier Toyota.
Getting a COVID test these days can be super time consuming, not to mention a bit of a health risk waiting in long lines to get one. Now you can get a fast, accurate test right at home. The Test Warehouse offers rapid, FDA emergency use, authorized tests, refundable by most insurance. Go to thetestwarehouse.com and schedule a rapid COVID test at a time convenient to you, and a medical professional will arrive to administer a 1-minute test. The test can be done safely outdoors at any home or office. You'll get the results in 10 minutes. Thetestwarehouse.com. That's thetestwarehouse.com.
Excellence isn't just a word, it is what we deliver. Vanguard Protection Group is committed to providing its clients with the highest echelon of protective services available. Our clients not only receive the security services they contract for, but also reports that are well-written, articulate, and thorough. Our patrol officers operate at the highest levels and have an impressive rapport with local law enforcement. With military, police, private policing, and courtroom experience, you can trust that we have the strength to deliver our promise of excellence. Contact Vanguard Protection by calling 661-753-3611 or visiting their website at vanguardprotectiongroup.com.
These days, it's hard to figure out how to fill all the self-isolation time, let alone figure out what to have for lunch or dinner. Salt Creek Grill owner Greg Amsler is helping us out in a big way. Salt Creek is now offering takeout and curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Their entire menu is available for pickup or delivery, including to-go beer and wine. Hey. In addition, Greg's offering wine at 25% off, along with daily specials. If you'd like to buy a gift card for a future visit, now's the time. Buy a $50 gift card and get $10 extra on the card completely free. Buy a $100 gift card, you get an extra $25. Salt Creek Grill, located next to Regal Cinema at the Valencia Mall. For more info, go to saltcreekgrill.com.
Mend Cryotherapy is open. As always, they continue to clean and sanitize all equipment. Social distancing will be enforced and hand sanitizer will be provided throughout the facility. Temperature checks will be done daily on each employee, and masks will be provided if forgotten. They have amazing welcome back specials, including the $99 performance package, which includes a cryo session, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which boosts recovery of damaged cells, the aromatherapy oxygen bar, Nucom, and infrared sauna. There's also a beauty package with a cryofacial, infrared sauna, and more. And don't forget their extensive selection of health and wellness products, including CBD. Mend Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to MEND, cryotherapy.com. Mend Cryotherapy on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
An overwhelming consensus among economists, left, right, and center, that this is a unique moment in this crisis.
The president arguing the cost of inaction grows every day. Some Republicans in Congress have proposed breaking his nearly $2 trillion rescue plan into smaller parts. The White House says the president has reached out to both sides in Congress, but Democratic leaders are preparing to use a budget tool that requires only a simple majority vote if there's no bipartisan deal on a relief package. The president's getting ready to do more soon without Congress. On immigration, Fox's Rachel Sutherland has this live.
Lisa, the president is expected to announce the creation of a task force to reunite families separated at the border this upcoming week. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says it was supposed to happen today, but a Senate filibuster of Homeland Security Chief Nominee Alejandro Mayorkas held plans up.
We expect him to be confirmed on Monday evening, and therefore the president will sign it on Tuesday, and then Secretary Mayorkas will be overseeing that moving forward.
President Biden has signed 40 executive orders and actions during his first week in office on a range of issues like the pandemic, racial equity, climate change, and health care. Lisa?
Thanks, Rachel. Encouraging news on another COVID vaccine.
Johnson & Johnson says their candidate vaccine shows an overall effectiveness of 66%, though among trial patients in the U.S., it was 72%. It was much lower in South America and South Africa, probably because of the newly emerging strains of the virus. Still, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine showed an 85% effectiveness in preventing severe COVID-19 disease and the need for hospitalization.
Fox's Eben Brown. It still needs federal regulatory review. America is listening to Fox News.
Would you get on an airplane if you knew it had a 50% chance of crashing? You may be riding that plane right now. If you have your money in a 401k or IRA and you plan to take out the recommended percentage each year when you retire, your chance of running out of money is 50%. 50%. But there's a better and safer way to secure your income in retirement. Discover how in a free book called Rescue Your Retirement. This wealth building strategy has never had a losing year in more than a century. In fact, even the man who invented the 401k now prefers this method instead. Get Rescue Your Retirement free for just a small shipping charge and enjoy a safe landing and a comfortable retirement. Get this free book and make sure you don't run out of money. Hurry, this offer is extremely limited. To get your free copy, just go to growwealthsafely.com. That's growwealthsafely.com to discover how to rescue your retirement. growwealthsafely.com.
President Biden not backing away from his pledge to try to rebuild the Iran nuclear deal President Trump pulled out of, despite Iran's current non-compliance.
He believes that through follow-on diplomacy, the U.S. should seek to lengthen and strengthen these nuclear constraints and address other issues of concern, including Iran's ballistic missiles program and its regional activity.
The White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki reiterates Iran would have to resume compliance with all of the constraints in the deal. Russia's President Vladimir Putin just signing the 5-year extension of a nuclear arms treaty with the U.S., recently proposed by President Biden. But a Russian court has just ordered the brother of Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny to be under house arrest until March 23rd for breaching COVID-19 restrictions. Navalny is already jailed after returning home from Germany, where he was treated for poisoning he blames on Russia. The U.S. has called for his release and has also criticized the treatment of thousands of others who protested his arrest. The wild ride back on for some stocks in a tug of war between big and small investors.
GameStop, AMC, and nearly a dozen other stocks targeted by day traders on free apps saw buyers again after trading platform Robinhood reinstated some trades in shares and options that it had restricted on Thursday. It called it a risk management decision. E-Trade had also imposed restrictions. The traders promoting the stocks on social media have driven up the prices, losing money for short sellers who've been betting the slumping company's shares would decline. A group of individual investors is suing Robinhood, claiming it deprived customers of their ability to use the service. And members of Congress are calling for an investigation into the situation.
Fox's Ginny Cosola. Right now, GameStop up about 80%. Overall, though, a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow's down 396. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks are lower on Wall Street after disappointing vaccine news from Johnson & Johnson, also on worries about the volatility triggered by a group of traders who banded together on social media to go after big Wall Street investors. The Securities and Exchange Commission this morning issuing a statement that extreme stock price volatility has the potential to expose investors to rapid and severe losses, which could undermine market confidence. GameStop shares, which faced a lot of restrictions on Thursday, opened up about 100% this morning, quickly lost a portion of that gain, and homebuyers signed fewer contracts to buy existing homes in December. Discouraged by record high prices and low supply, pending sales were more than 21% higher than December of 2019. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
With the new president, so much is happening in Washington. Now, millions are turning to Newsmax TV, your trusted news source. They're going online to Newsmax.com for breaking news and downloading the free Newsmax app on their smartphones. Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get Newsmax, call your cable operator or watch it free on Roku, YouTube, Apple TV, Xumo, Pluto, and smart TVs like Samsung and LG. Newsmax is real news for real people. Start watching today.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVi, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK through 12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVi, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVi produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit ileadsantaclarita.org. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Rain on and off today till mid-afternoon. Highs in the low 50s, overnight lows in the upper 30s. Should be a beautiful day tomorrow. We're looking at sunny skies and highs in the low 60s. For anything and everything Santa Clarita Valley related, go to hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools, Eye on the Valley. You know, we spoke last hour with the leadership team at SCVi, Nessa and Tina, and I just wanted to remind our listeners, if you're interested, SCVi has got 3 virtual information sessions scheduled soon. This next Thursday coming up, February 4th at 5 p.m., you can hear details about SCVi's lower school. Like I said, that's TK through 8th grade. And then at 6 p.m., very same night, you can stay on the same Zoom conference. 6 p.m. February 4th, you can learn more details about SCVi's upper school, which is grades 9 through 12. So that's February 4th, next Thursday. And then on March 5th, Friday, March 5th, you can hear about our TK Kinder and First Grade program at our Kindergarten Roundup. That's at 6 p.m., so pull your littles up to the table with you, and Megan Tapia and Ness Roffredo will tell you more about SCVi's unique dual language immersion program that she was talking about. Again, that's on March 5th. Now, my next guest, Greg Amsler, was born and raised in the Midwest. He later graduated from the University of Iowa, and after they both graduated from U of I, Greg married his high school sweetheart, Shell. Greg and Shell purchased Salt Creek Grill in the heart of downtown Santa Clarita here on Town Center Drive in 1999, and they've been running the restaurant ever since. Greg, welcome back to Eye on the Valley. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. You know, Greg, you and your team at Salt Creek have had a heck of a year, but, you know, you're open, you're closed, you're open, but only for patio service and then for only takeout. But today's kind of a big day again. You guys are open, but for patio service, is that it? Outdoor dining only?
Yep, outdoor dining only. So we have our standard outdoor patio, and then over the past couple of days, we've installed 3 tents outside in our courtyard. So we'll have the patio and the courtyard, and also our fire pit when it stops raining, which hopefully will be soon, but that's okay. I'm just happy to be open.
Gosh, I can only imagine. You mentioned the weather. It's cold. It's raining outside. Going to be raining off and on for the next several days. It seems kind of like a cruel joke, doesn't it? But are you going to be able to pull it off? You said you have tents. Are you guys ready for the cold and for the wet?
Yeah, I certainly recommend everybody still bundling up because it is outdoor dining. It won't be as bad as the pictures I've seen from places like New York City and Boston, where people are literally sitting out in the snow eating. But it will be cold. We'll be enclosed, and we have heaters. But just remember, the heaters can only do so much. So I recommend everybody, keeping an extra layer of clothes on. But we'll get it done. We're pretty excited about it. We got shut down the day before Thanksgiving, and and that was only a couple of months since we had been shut down the first time. So we're hoping this one will last, and we can continue on kind of the way it used to be, at least a semblance of what it used to be.
Yeah, getting close to it. But I think you're right. If those chowds can sit out in the snow and eat dinner, I think we can put on a sweater and brave a little bit of wet, get out to Salt Creek and enjoy some of those dinners that we've missed so much of. Greg, let's face it, this pandemic and its restrictions have all but crushed the restaurant industry. We've seen business after business succumb as the months dragged on. It's been tough to endure. And many of those that weren't forced to close were forced to lay off a lot of their employees. How'd you guys do at Salt Creek? How have you and your employees fared over these last 10, 11 months?
Well, we have a very good, first of all, a very good core that has been with us. A number of them have been with us for almost 22 years since we opened in '99. And it's good to have kind of that as a base. And then the new people have come and they've learned from them, and they understand what we do and how we do things. And they've been very loyal, which we're very appreciative, and we expect to have, not everybody, because people have gone on, and during all this, people have gone on outside the industry and gone to industries that are open, whether it's an office job or into some other segments of industry. But for the most part, we'll have just about everybody back, and we'll probably be hiring a little bit also. So if anybody wants to come on in and fill out an application, that's fine. But it's kind of a good look of our valley here that we not only us, but I've talked to Lena McFerrin and some of the other restaurant owners, and their employees are coming back, and we got a good group of people here in our valley.
That is good to hear. You're absolutely right. We've got a good group of business owners and folks running things here in the valley. Talking to Greg Amsler, owner and operator of Salt Creek in Valencia. They're reopening for in-person dining, well, in just a couple of hours here. Greg, one of the things that's helped you, and I've got to think, was the nightly specials that you guys continued to advertise. I know one of the parts of my morning routine became checking Facebook to see what specials you've got cooking at Salt Creek for takeout. I love the creativity and innovation there, and oftentimes my choice for dinner was made by 11 o'clock in the morning as I'm looking at your post. Can you tell us a little bit about those specials? Where did that idea come from of not just offering most of your full menu every night, but then creating these nightly specials?
Well, when the initial shutdown happened, I think it was St. Patrick's Day that we started doing this, along with a lot of the other restaurants. To be honest, a lot of our food, our menu items aren't great to travel. A sea bass or a stuffed halibut, that kind of stuff just doesn't. It's still good, but it just isn't as good as what you get in the restaurant. So we had to adapt and had to, kind of shift gears and figure out something else to do. And we came up with our nightly family meal specials, and you can get them either in a family of 4, or you can do it for 2. And we'll do some menu items, but then we'll also do some more creative stuff. And we've had lasagna, and we've had some other things that aren't on our menu. And it's kind of fun to do it, and to be able to, in these times when everybody was shut down, or when you're working and the kids are schooling at home, and you just don't have time to shop and cook, and you can buy an entire family's meal and just have it ready, pick it up, take it home, and serve it, and you're ready to go, and no cleanup, no prep, no shopping. It worked out pretty well, and we had to kind of shift gears on the fly when it first happened in March, but we're going to continue those. We're going to keep doing those family of fours, and every Saturday night we have a date night for two people to kind of keep a semblance of normalcy. When you have a date with your wife, your husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, and it's just the two of you, and we'll do something special for those nights. And we're going to continue them. They've been received very, very well.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. You mentioned the main dish, but like the vegetable that you guys prepare to go along with them, the potato or the bread, and then you guys include dessert almost every night. It really is a full meal, and man, the portions are phenomenal. Greg, you know me. I'm not what would be classified as a light eater, but my family always had leftovers when we ordered these specials. So it's good to hear that you're going to still be offering them. We really enjoy it. And then you guys also oftentimes will pair a cocktail with the nightly specials. We can get cocktails to go as well, right?
Yeah, it's kind of nice. The ABC from the state of California at the very beginning allowed cocktails to go, and I certainly hope it continues, because it is kind of something special. We have signature cocktails that we offer that even myself, it's tough to replicate at home when you don't have all the equipment and everything. So we will continue those as long as we can, whether it's a special old fashioned or our Cristini martinis or margaritas, whatever it may be, bottles of wine that you can't often find at the store. We'll continue that as long as we can.
Yeah, those Cristini martinis are absolutely fabulous. In education, we're talking about this all the time, how we've also had to shift on the fly and innovate and find new ways of doing things. And some of them are actually better than the old ways of doing things. And we're excited that some of these innovations in education are going to stick around even after the pandemic has subsided and we go, quote unquote, back to normal. Hopefully the same thing is true in your industry, that this signifies not just a temporary accommodation to help businesses stay open, but a new way of doing things, that this is something that you can continue as far as providing takeout, is also do takeout drinks and things like that.
And that's exactly right. And I think from a lot of corporate standpoints, people have learned to work from home. So hopefully the traffic will lessen up a little bit, and people can work a day or two a week from home, and hopefully that kind of stuff will continue, because it's good. It's good for everybody. It's good for us because people they're not commuting an hour or 2 hours a day, and that gives them more time to go on out and to plan things, and they're not in such a hurry. So hopefully some good will come out of this after all.
Yeah, definitely. So you talked about how you've got your normal patio. You've also spread out into the courtyard there. You've got your tents up. What kind of space are we talking about, Greg? How many tables? How many parties are you going to be able to accommodate at a time?
Well, we have 15 tables properly spaced in our permanent patio that we've always had. And in the tents, I believe we added another, I'm going to say 20, 22. And then once it warms up a little bit, we still have a little area that we can add about 4 or 5 more tables that'll just be kind of under the stars. So we'll have between 30 and, by the time we're completely done, between 30 and 40 tables outside.
Okay, so you'll be able to get a decent crowd. So tonight and moving forward, should folks call to make reservations? Is it walk-in only? How do we make sure we get our seat? Because I know so many people are excited to get back to Salt Creek.
Well, at this point, it's walk-in only, just because it's new to everybody, and we don't want to screw things up, to be honest with you. We want to make sure everybody has a great experience. So at this point, it's just going to be walk-in only on weekends, and we will probably start offering the reservations during the week here shortly, but we kind of want to ease into it and make sure that everything is going smooth.
All right, fantastic. And so if folks are looking to head out and have a nice Friday evening out, head on over to Salt Creek Grill. They're going to be ready for you. But, some of us were born and raised here in SoCal, Greg, and aren't necessarily as excited about the cold and would just rather pick something up. Can you give us your website, your phone number? How do people get a hold of you?
Phone number is easy. It's 661-222-9999, and our website is Salt Creek Grill, E on the end of grill, all one word, .com. And make sure you select, there's different Salt Creek locations, so make sure you select the Valencia location, and all the information that you'll need will be right on there, including menus and upcoming events, etc.
Fantastic. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, we've already dropped that website in the chat there. Greg, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. We wish you and your team luck, and I want all of you to swing by Salt Creek this weekend. Pick it up to go, cocktails too, or you can sit under the tent and enjoy being served to the sound of the pitter-patter of the rain outside. And either way, you can go to Stonefire, Salt Creek Grill. I don't know where that came from. Go to saltcreekgrill.com for more information, including that incredible menu. Thanks for calling in, Greg.
Absolutely, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You take care. Don't go away. Lots of fun coming up, including my annoying brother, Big T. You're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools, Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Are you looking for educational flexibility and choice? Look no further than your front door. iLead Exploration's independent study program is passionate about personalized learning. Our mission is to inspire learners to become creative problem solvers, compassionate leaders, conscientious collaborators, and responsible citizens who develop a lifelong love of learning. Our families partner with a credentialed teacher to customize each child's educational path. Families access community partners to choose a variety of in-person, online, and at-home options to create an optimal learning environment for each learner. Our program also values community, and through a variety of field studies, service projects, park days, and family gatherings, we provide many opportunities to foster friendships. Because there are currently in-person limitations due to COVID, we are offering activities online through webinars and virtual field trips. iLead Exploration is a tuition-free, independent study charter school program serving grades TK through 12 in Los Angeles, Orange, Kern, San Bernardino, and Ventura counties. To learn more about our program, visit iLeadExploration.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Getting a COVID test these days can be super time-consuming, not to mention a bit of a health risk waiting in long lines to get one. Now you can get a fast, accurate test right at home. The Test Warehouse offers rapid, FDA emergency use, authorized tests, refundable by most insurance. Go to thetestwarehouse.com and schedule a rapid COVID test at a time convenient to you, and a medical professional will arrive to administer a 1-minute test. The test can be done safely outdoors at any home or office. You'll get the results in 10 minutes. Thetestwarehouse.com. That's thetestwarehouse.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead Schools, Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. And if you're on Facebook Live, you see not very often that I'm joined in studio, but excited to have a couple of guests here in studio. I've got Shawn Sadoff and Wayne Marks from Vanguard Protection Group in Valencia. Founded in 2019, Vanguard provides all kinds of security needs, including patrol, alarm response, executive protection, security consulting, school patrols, all kinds of services for your special and day-to-day events. Shawn, Wayne, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So before we talk about Vanguard, I want to get to know about you guys a little bit. Normally, I research my guests before they come in. And in fact, we surprised Nessa last hour with a little bit of her ska music that she played back in college. But you guys don't leave much of a digital footprint out there, I gotta tell you. So I know that your business is on Valencia and Copper Hill in the Tesoro Village Shopping Center. But do you guys live here in the valley too?
I do. I live here in Valencia.
Yes, and I'm up in Castaic.
All right, fantastic. So both guys here from the valley. Have you lived in town a long time? You got family, kids? How much can you share?
Well, both of us are transplants from out of the area.
All right.
I'm originally from Pasadena.
All right.
Born and raised down there. Spent some time up north. Spent some time in Washington in the military. So I've been all over. But I've loved living here for the past couple years, and it's really become my home. And this is really where I want to be, where I want to raise my family, and and really become part of the community.
Yeah, it's a great place to raise a family, and most of us are transplants just because of the great things that this area offers for families as we grow up. So tell us a little bit about how you guys got into this line of work. How did you guys get into the security business?
Well, we got into this just because we're both kind of the same type of person and same mindset. We like helping other people. My colleague Shawn used to be a police officer up in Stockton, and like you said, the military. I've been working on the private side since about 2009.
Okay.
And we both get great enjoyment helping people and resolving issues for them. We got into Vanguard because working for a local competitor, we kind of saw how things were happening in the industry, which was very, very poor. Lots of deceptive business practices, dishonesty. Clients weren't getting the contracted services they asked for, and we just both, were talking one day, and we realized we could do far better. And that's kind of when the idea of Vanguard Protection was born.
Yeah, I was looking on your website, and you guys do talk about that a little bit, about how you were working for a competitor and seeing that things weren't being done necessarily the way they could be done. And, I got to love the entrepreneurial spirit that says, hey, I think we can provide a better product. But is that typical in your line of work? Is that something that you see with a lot of security companies that aren't necessarily providing everything that they should, everything that they can for their clients?
Definitely. I think we can both touch on this. When we worked at that other company, I'd get calls. I was one of the watch commanders, and he was the night watch commander. And we get calls from clients all day long that they hadn't seen the patrol cars. People weren't showing up. Even today with the ones that we see driving around Santa Clarita, they're just driving around, and they don't get out of their car. They don't really do anything.
Well, it's wet out there, man. Why would I want
you got to stay dry. No, we get out of the car. We're very proactive. If I have to give a car a citation, I put it in a Ziploc baggie if it's raining. We're very...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do our jobs, and we do it well, and you just don't see that with a lot of competitors, unfortunately.
And really, what's kind of happened over the last 10 or 15 years, what I like to call the race to the bottom. Everyone's competing to get the lowest price they possibly can to get as much volume as they possibly can, and the only way they can do that is by shortchanging the customer. The customer is the one that ends up paying the price for that. So, hiring people that aren't necessarily qualified, cheating people on service. We had complaints at this other company before that, again, they hadn't seen a patrol car in a long time. They're having all kinds of crime problems, and lo and behold, records show that we hadn't been to the property in over a year.
Yeah.
So, things like that.
It's one thing if you're an HOA and there's really no need, but you told your clients you'd hire somebody. But we're now the third largest city in Los Angeles County, and that comes with some issues that need to be dealt with from time to time. My dad always says, if you want cheap, it's available out there. But you guys aren't providing that cheap service, but the highest quality service. So speaking of services, what are the most called on? Because I figured, okay, security, I'm familiar with, the guy that does give me a hard time when I park in the wrong spot at my complex and things like that. But looking at your website, you guys provide tons of services. So what are the most called on here in Santa Clarita? What do you guys find yourselves doing most of the time?
I would say most of the time we're getting calls for service for a person on the property that... really the transient issues. That's probably the bread and butter that we're seeing around.
Okay.
It's really not unique to any given location. It's kind of everywhere, both in this valley and the San Fernando Valley that we service.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of everywhere, so that's one of our most called for things. It's the response calls, and then we also do alarm calls. That's probably one of the top ones we do.
Okay.
Yep.
But then you guys also provide security for, special events. If I'm having, once we can start getting together for weddings and
Sure.
things like that, or those larger events, you also do executive protection. I know there's a lot of folks in the entertainment industry and things like that live in and around the valley, so I'm sure that gets called on from time to time as well. So we touched on it a little bit. The two of you have created kind of a unique business model, and when we reflect on the reasons of why it's unique, it's kind of depressing, right?
Yeah.
But so what kind of sets you guys apart from the rest that are out there? What would make someone who's listening, who might be in the market for security needs, say, you know what, I need those guys. I'm going to forget about all the others.
You want to grab that? Sure.
Well, really the key difference, is not necessarily,
having the same quality equipment that law enforcement uses, which we do, but other companies do that as well.
Okay.
Really what comes down to the difference is our people, us. We only hire people from military backgrounds, prior law enforcement, or a minimum of 2-year college degree, with no exceptions.
Okay.
From that, they have to then go through an extensive background investigation, all the way through polygraphing and a 6-month training program before they're out on their own. That ensures that we're giving the highest quality product that we can to our clients, which is our officers. That way, they are exceeding the need every single time, and there's never a question to our clients whether they're getting the service that they're paying for or not.
Okay, so when I hire you, I don't have to worry about I'm getting someone who just got fired from the local grocery store or got laid off from the retail shop at the mall or something like that. You guys have got, gosh, it sounds like you guys have the same, if not higher standards than even the local police forces.
Well, I'd like to jump on that one because we understand, like, we are blessed to have an amazing law enforcement agency, the Sheriff's Department in our backyard. We've worked with numerous, but they're just fantastic.
Right.
And they have, obviously, the highest professionalism and standards that you really want to see. But there's a huge discrepancy between the Sheriff's Department and then the private security that's going around to these HOAs, commercial buildings, etc. And there's just nothing in between. And Shawn and I set out to kind of fill in that gap. And we realized, we may not have obviously the funding that you get from the state or the county. We don't have the ability to hold our many academies for our officers throughout the year. But what we can do is we can maintain the same standards and professionalism. It is challenging being a small company. The company trying to get the standards brought up in the whole industry, because it's not just our company. When people think of security in general, they're used to seeing the guy driving around, not getting out of the car. He has no duty belt on, maybe not trained or equipped, and it's kind of hard to not only put that out there, but to start changing the public perception of what a private officer can be versus what you see from the Sheriff's Department.
Sure.
So it's an uphill battle that we're fighting to get things changed, but we're making inroads, I guess.
And that is an important point. It seems like we've always had, the police that are great, do a terrific job, but you can't really call them until someone's broken into your home. And, another security company might be good for keeping my neighbor out of my parking spot or something like that. But you guys kind of fill that, when I've got somebody shady lurking around my place and I don't know what to do, you guys can help fill that gap. That is fantastic. Now, you mentioned that you opened your business in 2019. And hindsight, right? Not necessarily the optimal time to be opening a business. Were you guys affected by the pandemic at all? How's this hit you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just like every business, we've been impacted, and not positively. It has been a challenge. There's been a lot of sleepless nights for the both of us.
Yeah, I bet.
But we're in it for the long haul. We've put everything behind this. This is who Wayne and I are, and I don't know how to give up or how to back down. So we're just going to keep fighting forward. Thankfully, we haven't been hit as hard as other businesses, so I've got to really be thankful for that. But COVID sucks. It's been terrible. I mean, for everyone. If you would have told me a year or two ago that we'd be facing this right now, I wouldn't have believed you. So.
Yeah, I'm a teacher, and when we shut our schools down, we told our families, a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah. You say you don't know how to quit. You don't know how to back down. Gosh, what a great quality to have in a security company, and that's I'm sure real comforting for your clients. Fortunately for you guys, maybe unfortunately for the rest of us, security is one of those pandemic-resistant industries. We are always going to need the service of folks like yourselves. We're living in some tumultuous times. Pandemics certainly aren't the only things out there that we have to worry about, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if I need somebody to keep an eye on my home, my family, my business, myself, how do I get a hold of you guys?
So you can go online You can visit us at vanguardprotectiongroup.com. You can go to our Facebook page, Vanguard Protection, or you can call us at 661-753-3611.
Fantastic. So, tell me a little bit more about your business model. As I mentioned, you guys are in, what is it, the Tesoro Village Shopping Center there on Copper Hill. So things are going okay, and so let me put it this way: if I've got a business and I'm a little worried about it, I call you guys. Do you pull me in for a consultation, or how does that whole process work? Or do I just say, I need some security. I heard the Jughead on the radio talking to you guys, and I want to hire you. How's that whole process work out?
So, really, again, what sets us aside from other companies is most companies you can call them and say, hey, this is where my business is, or this is where I live, this is the community I represent. We need security for X amount of patrols a day, and they'll usually throw you out just a blanket price without ever setting foot on that property.
Mm-hmm.
We don't work like that. So what we'll do is we'll set up a time to come and evaluate your property and conduct an assessment of your entire umbrella of security. So we're going to look at any weak points you have, what actual problems are taking place, and any loopholes as far as where suspects might exploit to commit crimes against your property, things like that. And then we will tailor a package to fit that need. So we don't do any kind of blanket pricing. Everything we do is customized. So we tailor it to each client to ensure that they're taken care of and all their needs are met.
Fantastic. And then that goes, kind of dovetails in perfectly to the consulting you do, because if folks aren't necessarily looking to hire you guys, but they're looking to look for those holes in their system or things like that, you guys will consult with them. What does that look like? What kind of services can you provide in the way of consulting?
Well, we can go as basic or entry level as they're looking for, or fully in depth. So the basic stuff would be looking at proper camera coverage, lighting, secured gates and locks. We've had clients that they've welded some metal plate to close the gap so you can't fit like a tool or something in to pop the door open. And we find other ways that they can still bypass that, like on a vehicle gate. So we can look at those things, and then we can go fully in depth and look at, if it's a high-profile client or celebrity client, all aspects of the person's life, who they're interacting with, who's visiting their property, everything. So we can do, from the very basic to the fully immersed. For the common, average call that we get, it's probably more going to be coming out, fully inspecting the property or the building, and looking for any weak points that Shawn was mentioning that can easily be bypassed.
Sure.
And a good point to bring up is during the pandemic, a lot of people aren't thinking that these vacant offices and buildings that are directly next door, people are using those and exploiting those now to gain access to the one that is not vacant. We had someone that went in through a wall of a business through the vacant one, so they didn't set off the alarm. And those are just common things that maybe the business owner wouldn't think of.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, I certainly wouldn't have thought of that.
Most people wouldn't, but this person was very creative, and we look for things like that. We through our experience and our background, we've known the things that they kind of do and the tricks they use to gain access, disabling alarms, cameras, that sort of thing. So,
gosh, creativity and innovation isn't limited to just the good
no,
guys.
it certainly is not.
It's funny, talking to you guys reminds me of something that our director of IT at our schools did a few years back. She went out and became certified as a digital and physical hacker, and she learned about all different kinds of ways to break into computers. She learned how to pick locks and stuff like. She got stopped at the airport a couple times, and she actually became an instructor. And I asked her once. I said, what are you doing? You're learning to do all the bad stuff. And she says, well, I've got to. I've got to know what these folks are doing so that I can protect our network, so that I can protect our physical plant, so that I can protect, Matt, your laptop and everything else in our system. You guys kind of have the same model, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, and now as I mentioned, we're a school organization, and you guys also offer services for schools.
Yes.
I grew up in this community, one of the safest communities in the country. But unfortunately, and it chokes me up, my son was there, we learned all too harshly that no community is immune to the violence at schools and things like this past November. Talk about some of the services you guys provide to keep our schools safe in and around the Valley.
Well, I would say the number one thing is just having a fast, reliable presence. Like again, we've got a fantastic sheriff's department up here that services the community. But like you mentioned, like there's no place can't be a target anymore, especially if it's a public, like a mall or a school, any place where people gather. So to protect that, really the twofold method would be a fast, efficient response, and then we can also staff a plainclothes undercover officer, so to speak, because a lot of parents and families are concerned about having sort of a quote-unquote police presence at the school, somebody who's visibly armed. They necessarily don't want to see that.
Sure.
But you can have somebody who's on site where the response time is immediate because they're already there, and they can protect the children or whatever you've got.
It's interesting, kind of like those sky marshals, right? You never know if one's on your plane, but it's comforting to know that they're out there, and nice to know that you don't have to see that constant reminder of there's imminent danger nearby. Yeah. Exactly. Did you want to say something, Shawn?
No, and one of the things we always stress to clients too, and it goes really with any facet of life here. The biggest deterrent or the biggest thing you can do to protect yourself, protect your school, is work within. You guys know your schools. Train your staff, have a plan, and dismiss nothing. If something doesn't feel right, it's usually not.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, you yourself can be the biggest asset to your own protection. And a lot of time that gets overlooked. So we always like to stress that. The first thing you got to start with is you. What am I not doing? What can I do to add to my own protection? So that's one thing we usually sit down with larger clients like that and be like, okay, well, let's look internally first, and then we'll look at the external stuff.
Okay, fantastic. Gentlemen, we appreciate what you're doing, the service you provide. Wayne Marks, Shawn Satoff from Vanguard Protection Group. One more time, how do we get a hold of you if we need some of your security services?
A lot of people are using Facebook, so just Vanguard Protection, online at vanguardprotectiongroup.com, or you can just call us at 661-753-3611.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you stopping by. I know Patty felt a lot more comfortable having you in here for these last few minutes. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Don't want you to go away. When we come back, it's everybody's favorite segment. We're going to have a little bit of fun with Big T. This is SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need. And when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what's best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or visit resurgenceit.com. Welcome to Dunkin', where safety is their #1 priority. The staff at Dunkin' has daily temperature checks and goes through a series of current health questions prior to each shift. They have all the necessary PPE, including masks, shields, and gloves. In addition, every store is sanitized several times an hour for your protection. Use the Dunkin' app for specials and to order ahead. Carry-out and curbside pickup is available, or have your order delivered by Grubhub, Postmates, Uber Eats, or DoorDash. Dunkin', all-day sandwiches, donuts, bagels, muffins, and of course, hot and cold beverages. Visit Dunkin' on Bouquet, next to Lowe's, or the Dunkin' in Canyon Country on Sierra Highway. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'. Getting a COVID test these days can be super time-consuming, not to mention a bit of a health risk waiting in long lines to get one. Now you can get a fast, accurate test right at home. The Test Warehouse offers rapid, FDA emergency use, authorized tests, refundable by most insurance. Go to thetestwarehouse.com and schedule a rapid COVID test at a time convenient to you, and a medical professional will arrive to administer a 1-minute test. The test can be done safely outdoors at any home or office. You'll get the results in 10 minutes. Thetestwarehouse.com. That's thetestwarehouse.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. And we are in the home stretch. We are in our final break of Eye on the Valley this week. And it's everybody's favorite segment. And for this segment, we're going to invite the whole family in. That's right. First off, we've got producer Sarah on the line. Producer Sarah, thanks for calling in and joining us.
Sure, Matt.
I'm glad to have you. And you can hear the mouth breathing from here, Sarah. Big T is also on the line. How you doing, big brother?
You're such a wonderful brother.
Easy there.
And we've got engineer Patty joining us for this segment.
Heyo.
All righty. So, Big T, how you doing today? What have you got for us this week?
I'm doing great. I'm glad producer Sarah's in this morning. Welcome. Got some trivia, got some fun facts. Producer Sarah, you know the rules, yes?
Yes, I do. It's going to be fun
Perfect.
taking score.
All right, so
and playing.
our name is our buzzer. So we've got Patty, Frogger, and Sarah. Is that going to be your buzzer?
Sure.
All right, because producer Sarah's a little long.
Yes.
All righty.
All right. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Phototherapy using ultraviolet light is often used for treatment on infants for what?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Jaundice.
Nice. Oh,
good one. Good one.
What season begins with the vernal equinox?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That would be summer.
Incorrect.
Nope.
Sarah, Patty?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Spring.
Spring, 2 for 2. Nice job.
I had no idea.
All right. What spirit is distilled from the agave cactus?
Frogger.
Frogger.
It's tequila. You know I got that one.
Tequila. What future Oscar-winning actor's role was in Fast Times at Ridgemount High?
Frogger.
First role. Frogger, you cannot answer this one. You know it already.
Patty.
Patty.
Sean Penn.
Incorrect. That was not
Wait,
his first role.
what?
Producer Sarah.
Oh, my goodness.
Can't believe I got shut out. Can't
I
believe
think
I'm
we might
still
have to let Frogger answer.
All right,
this one.
Frogger, you're back in.
Okay, so he was credited as Nick Coppola. You'd know him as Nicolas
Incorrect,
Cage.
Frogger. Incorrect.
What?
Wait, what?
Has he ever-
I know where
Has he ever won an Academy Award for Best Actor? No, he is
probably not. Probably not.
That was probably part of the question.
All right.
Forrest Whitaker. He was the running back.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
he was the star from Jefferson who had his Trans Am totaled.
Yep.
Yes.
But you know what?
I
But
can fix it.
my dad's a TV repairman. I got tools at home.
All right. Same movie. What group's hit song was featured in the famous Phoebe Cates swimming pool scene? Incorrect. Timed out. Cars.
Yeah,
Walks in stereo.
Oh, I was gonna go with Cars. I just didn't know what the song. Okay.
Sticking with the Cars. Who was Rick Ocasek married to?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Claudia Schiffer.
No. Paulina, famous swimsuit model. Paulina Poroskova. Yeah. So some Fast Times fun facts since you guys killed that topic so well. You know, it was originally a nonfiction book where someone actually went into a school in San Diego. The character Mark Ratner, the one Rat.
Yeah, he sold
was actually-
concert tickets.
That guy, real life, he became a huge tech guy and went on to write a lot of those dummy books, like Computers for Dummies, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Also, actress Jennifer Jason Leigh, she actually took a job at Perry's Pizza in the Sherman Oaks Galleria to help herself get into character.
Shut up. That's awesome.
And as Frogger mentioned, yes, Nicolas Cage did get his movie debut in that movie, but he was credited as Nick Coppola because he's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
Yep, and his part was
He also
Stoner
was-
number 2.
He also was the only actor in that movie that was under 18 years old. It was set in a high school. He was the only one under 18 because the producer thought it was a little risque and didn't want any kids in the movie.
A little bit.
He lied about his age, said he was 18.
And he actually tried out for the role of Spicoli.
Yes, he did. All right. What U.S. car was the first to install a factory-installed rear spoiler? American car.
Frogger.
That
would be the Pontiac Trans Am.
Incorrect.
Nuts.
Patty, it starts with a D.
I don't know because I don't know cars, man. I really don't know cars.
The Dodge Challenger.
Sarah's
Oh.
in there?
Sarah, sorry.
Oh, come on.
I would have said Dodge Dart, so I would have gotten it wrong anyway.
All right. if you walk 26,400 feet, how many miles have you walked?
Frogger. 5 miles.
There.
5 miles, correct.
Yeah.
What was the biggest grossing film in the 70s?
Patty.
Sarah.
Patty.
Jaws?
I think incorrect. Sarah, I heard you chime in too.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, good poll.
Nice.
Oh, I feel slighted because I'm a Star Wars fan and I didn't think that.
Who was the only U.S. president to be sworn in by his father?
Frogger.
Frogger.
I'm going George W. Bush.
Incorrect. Before that?
Okay,
Sarah.
well then.
Sarah?
John Quincy Adams.
No, after that. You got anything, Patty?
John Adams? Is that
No,
before?
okay.
No.
Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge. Interesting.
Some Coolidge fun facts for you, Matt. You know, with the Coolidge Show record. You know, he was the only president born on the 4th of July.
Okay.
He was the first sitting president to visit Cuba, and the only one until Obama did in 2016. His wife, Grace, also brought a lot of attention to the hearing impaired. She did some work with them. And utilizing his voice and his role as the president, she helped raise $2 million for the Clark School of the Deaf.
Oh, nice.
They were also the first to invite Helen Keller to the White House. And you know, Matt, Coolidge couldn't call Keller from the Oval Office and invite her by phone. You know why, right? He had to go to the foyer, Matt.
Right.
Phones were installed in the White House in 1877, but only in the foyer. It wasn't until Herbert Hoover put one in the Oval Office in 1929 that you could actually make a phone call from them.
And here I thought you were a bad person.
I know you did.
You guys are fun.
Oh, jeez.
What city is Superman comics centered around?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Metropolis.
Perfect. What city is Batman comics centered around?
Frogger.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Gotham.
Gotham, good.
Nice pull.
What year did MTV first go on the air?
Frogger.
Frogger.
1981.
81, good pull.
Yeah.
What topical song was the first video?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That would be The Buggles. Video killed the radio star.
Good pull, back to back on your MTV.
Yeah.
In what state and city was Kmart founded?
Oh. Frogger, St. Louis, Missouri.
Nah. Anybody? Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, Patty, trying to keep this rolling, baby.
Yeah.
In what year,
It wasn't
did the
gonna be
Brooklyn
that.
Dodgers move to L.A.?
Frogger.
Frogger.
57.
57, good pull. How many American presidents have been assassinated while in office?
Patty. 3.
Incorrect.
Frogger, 5.
Incorrect. Sarah, it's probably right in the middle for those two.
Oh,
You think it might be 4?
I think so.
I went with guys and I didn't do it.
Matt, we had Greg Amsler on earlier,
Yes,
right?
we did.
So on a chef's hat, there's 100 folds in a chef's hat. Do you know what that number 100 represents?
The number of days you should go out for dinner in a year.
No, the number of ways you can cook an egg.
100 ways
Really?
to cook an egg.
Yes.
I know like 4 of them.
So it was deliberate. So some egg fun facts. You know, you can tell an egg is hard boiled by just spinning it. Did you know that?
I did, and if you spin it right, you can get it to stand up. Yep.
That is true. Just like a football.
Yep.
So yolks and egg whites actually have the same amount of protein, contrary to the myth that the yolks are so bad for you. They each have about 3 grams of protein. However, the yolks have more calories, the eggs whites not so much.
But they're so yummy.
Also, white and brown eggs don't have different nutritional values. Chickens that lay brown eggs are bigger, and hence they eat more food. That's why they cost more for brown eggs. That cost is passed on to us.
Huh.
Okay. Matt, do you know why we eat chicken eggs and not ducks or turkey eggs?
I don't know. I've never had a duck egg.
Chickens lay more eggs, and they're not as motherly. You ever tried getting an egg away from a turkey?
I got to say I have not, but there's probably a reason for that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
You got to fight on your
All right,
hands.
some football. Yes. So what's the only NFL team with the plant as a logo?
With a plant?
Yep.
Oh.
It's right there on their helmet. Come on, Patty.
I'm thinking. Oh.
Yeah.
Plant.
Black and gold.
Patty, the Steelers?
No.
No.
Let's black and gold.
The Saints.
Oh,
That's
the
a
Fleur de Lis. Yeah.
That's a
it's
The
flower.
Fleur de Lis.
Yeah.
This year, where's the NC2A men's basketball tournament being played?
Frogger. Is it Vegas?
Frogger. Incorrect. Patty, Sarah, you got this?
Crickets.
They're going to be bubbled in the state of Indiana.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Which country produces the most coffee in the world?
Frogger.
Frogger, then Sarah?
I'm going to go with Indonesia.
Incorrect, Sarah?
Colombia.
South America. A little bit farther south. Patty, you got it?
Argentina.
Brazil.
Okay.
Close.
Which song by Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee has the most views of all time on YouTube?
I don't know.
Nobody has teenage kids?
Nope.
Come on, Daddy.
Oh my goodness.
I shun.
Oh, Despacito.
That's
There we
what it
go.
is. I hate
There we
that
go.
song.
Hey, Big T, we got to bounce. But as always, thanks for popping by. Producer Sarah, thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us
Thanks,
today.
Sarah.
Thank you to my guests, Nessa Roffredo and Tina Toval from SCVi Charter School, Greg Amsler of Salt Creek Grill, Shawn Satoff and his partner Wayne with Vanguard Protection Group, and my big ace, my Big T. Join us again next week and every Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVi, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.